Welcome to Charlotte-Mecklenburg Library Mobile Technology. Today we're going to be talking about digital strategy for Charlotte-Mecklenburg Library. Digital strategy simply applies to everything we do to make sure our customers and staff have the newest knowledge and technology skills needed to function in the 21st century. Our digital inclusion specifically works with Google Fiber to be sure that we not only have the access to these technologies, but also the skills that are needed to be able to use the new technologies. This applies to both staff and to customers. Our digital facilitation team is specifically the 9 people in the system that are going to lead all the trainings and kind of help you filter down information that you might need to be able to use these new technologies. Your personal contact is going to be the digital point person. This digital point person is going to be located in your branch. When you have a question, you can go specifically to them, and they're going to help you learn these new technologies. The digital point person can turn around and come to the digital facilitation team with any concerns. You will have a list of digital competencies. Your digital point person will be able to help you with those. You will receive training and information about those competencies. This is simply a way to bring all employees up to the standard of digital knowledge that we're looking for as a system. It's something that you can receive system-wide training on as well as personal.
The digital facilitation team consists of Angel Truesdale from Main Library, Latrice Fox at Main Library, Kate Engelbrecht, also at Main Library, Eric Hartman from South County, Jeff Gavin from University City, Shantae Nemos at Matthews, Shannon Johnson at Beatty's-Ford Road, Noelle Culler at Independence, and Janet Goretti also at Independence. And last but not least is Seth Irvin, who is the Associate Director of Access and Organizational Initiatives. After this class, you will be able to say, I can do the following. I can receive training on the CML digital devices. I can consult my digital point person to continue my digital literacy. I can feel more comfortable with CML digital services. I can assist or lead a library program on mobile technology. Also, this class addresses Digital Competency Four. The digital point person will be your go-to guide for technology training. They are tasked with assisting branch managers with guiding staff through the Digital Competencies Checklist, holding regular trainings for staff, and coordinating programs for the devices. The digital point person will be tracking device usage in programs and staff training. Some examples of how your digital point person may structure trainings at your branch include holding office hours on a regular basis or scheduling group trainings. There are some mobile tech terms that we need to go over. These terms will be helpful to know before we proceed. An operating system is the software that runs any computer-like device. It's the software that makes the hardware useful. The user interface is how the device is displayed on the screen and interacts with the operating system. When you turn on your phone or tablet, what you see is the user interface. There are some important buttons you will encounter when looking at the user interface. The menu buttons allow access to more options on the device you are using. As you can see, there are several menu styles. Settings are usually some type of gear. The home button is usually shaped like a house. The download button is usually a down arrow pointing at a line or an object. The trash or delete button is most times a garbage can. Search or find is a magnifying glass. And the wireless button is usually some sort of radio frequency looking button like this one displayed here. Applications or apps are programs that operate your device and allow you to do different things. They are installed into the operating system. That is, they have to be adapted for each operating system they are installed on. Native apps are applications designed specifically for the devices you are using. A good example would be the Settings app or the Camera app. Third-party apps are the apps that can be downloaded from a store, such as the Google Play Store or the iTunes Store. Gaming apps or Pandora Music are examples of third-party apps. In the next 3 slides, we will see an example of a closed source. open source, and a hybrid source operating system. Closed source software means that other companies are not allowed to edit it in any way. If it is open source, other companies can edit the software. A hybrid would be a combination software that uses both open and closed source type software. The Apple iOS is included on devices like the iPhone, iPads and iPod Touch, and Apple TV. You would go to the iTunes store for apps and media to go with these devices. Apple uses an integrated user interface. This means the software and hardware are designed and created together for ease of use. For example, the camera software or app is designed to fit exactly what the camera hardware is capable of. This would also apply to sound, graphics, wireless, and other features. Apple is closed source, which means they don't want any other companies using their designs for hardware and software, especially the operating system. Apple is the sole manufacturer of Apple devices and Apple native software. The Android operating system is made by Google and is used for smartphones and tablets, including Google tablets and Nook tablets. Some companies you might have heard of that make smartphones and tablets with Android include Samsung, Motorola, LG, and HTC. These manufacturers all have different user interfaces that interact with the Android operating system. That is why you will see a lot of similarities but slight differences between Android devices or manufacturers. The user interface for Android devices is just a layer that sits on top of the larger operating systems for mobile computing. You would use the Google Play Store to get apps and media for Android devices. One exception is the Kindle Fire, which uses the Amazon App Store. The Android operating system is open source, which means other companies or developers can edit the operating system to make it look and work the way they want it to. The Microsoft Windows 8 operating system has recently been updated to Windows 10, but the Surface Pro 3s that we will use will have Windows 8. Windows 8 uses tiles that are big buttons for apps and programs. You would use the Microsoft Store to get apps and media for Windows 8. Windows 8 is used for both smartphones and tablets. The tablets are interesting because they have features of both a tablet and a laptop. When you turn it on, all the apps and programs are available at the touch of a button. But there is also a button for the desktop. When you go to the desktop, it is very similar to the Windows 7 desktop, but with the capabilities of a touchscreen. Microsoft allows other manufacturers to use Windows 8 and Windows 10, but they do not change the design of the operating system. Now we're going to talk about apps. Charlotte-Mecklenburg Library uses many apps to allow customers to access media resources. The Overdrive app allows access to many popular ebooks, e-audiobooks, and streaming movies. Our collection development department controls the content of what's in Overdrive. The rest of our media services are subscription-based, so we don't have control over the content. Freeding has thousands of ebooks for both fiction and nonfiction. Freegal Music allows 5 free song downloads a week. Most of its content is from the Sony Music Collection. It also has music videos. Hoopla Digital allows for the downloading of e-audiobooks and the streaming of music, movies, and television. One Click Digital lets you download e-audiobooks and some ebooks. Zinio for Libraries allows you to download magazines. It is important to know that Zinio and Zinio for Libraries are 2 different apps. Customers should use Zinio for Libraries. We also have some resources that focus on nonfiction titles, but they do have some fiction. These include eBrary, which uses a Bluefire reader and has ebooks, e-audiobooks, and image files. My iLibrary also has ebooks. EBSCOhost focuses on ebooks, and the NC Live Homegrown Collection, which is through BiblioBoard, has ebooks, images, and documents. Take the class Digital Services CML Content to learn more about using these resources. The library also has several resources for learning new things online. These include lynda.com, which has a large variety of training videos for technology, education, and business. Universal Class, which has online courses in many different topics, and you can receive continuous education credit. Learning Express Library focuses on career and test preparation. Pronunciator.com is where you can learn 80 other languages regardless of your language. And last but not least is Tutor.com, which provides live tutoring along with essay and resume drop-off. Check out the Digital Services e-learning class to become more familiar with these. As staff, we should have beginners start with the library app. When you're talking to customers, you can show them the demo on the website listed above and have them practice clicking in the different sections, returning to home, or even using the back button. I'm never comfortable recommending apps that aren't our own digital services apps, but if you have a true beginner, the CML app is a great place to start. If you have never experienced the app, do so today. Try out the demo on a desktop or download the app to your tablet or smartphone today. The current app will be sunsetting sometime in 2016, but for now, we will keep using this as a baseline. The new app will incorporate a digital library card and iBeacon technology.
Next, we're going to be talking about the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Library devices that your individual branches will be receiving. There are 7 devices in all. The set of devices that we have at each library branch will include the following: a Kindle Fire 7, an iPad Mini, an iPad Air, the Samsung Galaxy Tab S, the Samsung Galaxy Tab Nook device, a Surface Pro 3 with a cover, and an Asus Chromebook 11-inch. Mobile devices can be broken down into 2 major categories: smartphones and tablets. They work the same way, except smartphones allow the ability to make telephone calls. They are connected to the internet through Wi-Fi or a data plan. The data plan is usually referred to as 4G or 3G, depending on its capabilities. They provide an alternative to a laptop, but they don't have as many capabilities, like wireless printing. They can provide many popular things, though: email, internet access, the storage, streaming, and playing of music, games, and videos, ebooks, photos, and you can even find directions with GPS. Apps are the programs that operate your device. Native apps are the ones designed for the device, like the phone, contacts, setting, text messages, and calendars. You can also have downloaded apps, also known as third-party apps, that you can get for free or for a one-time fee or for a monthly fee. Some examples include Facebook, Google Hangouts, and Weather.com. For each of the slides that are coming up, you're going to see 3 basic things: A, B, and C. The A is going to be about, the B is going to be basics, and the C is going to be CML content. The first devices that we're going to talk about are the Samsung Galaxy Tab S and Tab Nook. These devices both run from the Android operating system and are manufactured by Samsung. The only big difference you're going to see between the two is the Tab Nook is actually the new Nook for Barnes & Noble. You will be able to show customers the Nook store if they're interested in purchasing a Nook, even though we will not be putting Nook content onto the devices. Along with the devices that will come to your branch, you will also get an extended version of this that you will be able to pull out that's laminated that will give you all this information and more about the individual devices. So when you're helping a customer, you will have a cheat sheet to be able to help. So the Samsung Galaxy Tab S and Tab Nook both run off the operating system for Android. All of the content you're going to be getting on them comes from the Play Store. The home button is located at the bottom of the device, and it's pushed to return to the home screen at any time. All of the tablets that we're going to be working with will have a home button located at the bottom, except the Kindle, and we'll get that in a minute. The settings are accessed in the Settings app, but you can also swipe down from the top of the screen for a quick settings option where you can change screen brightness, volume, and Wi-Fi options, as well as view your notifications and device activity. At the top of the screen, you'll see a battery percentage that is visible at all times on the home screen. To access the applications, you're going to see a menu button similar to what we talked about before that you're going to be able to push to pull up all your applications. If you want to see everything that's currently open, you can push the Recent key. The Recent key is going to pull up everything and allow you to close those. On all of the devices that we have, there will be some sort of Recent key that you'll be able to access. The web browser default is Chrome for the Android operating system. All of the applications are downloaded from the Play Store. You do not need the device password that you use to log on to this device to download apps. The power and volume button are on the right-hand side, and you turn off the device by holding the power button until you get a message that has you slide to power off. As far as CML content, Android devices and Apple devices have the most content. We have apps in the form of Overdrive, Freeding, Freegal, EBSCO, eBrary, OneClick Digital, Hoopla, Tutor.com, and Zenio for libraries. You will be able to access all of those apps and download them from the Play Store. Again, on the more detailed sheet that you will have at your branch, there will be information for all of the devices on how to download these different applications and also how to delete them, so each of you can get practice doing that. The next device we're going to talk about is the Kindle Fire. This is an Amazon product. It is based on Android but runs on Fire OS operating system. This makes it a little bit different in that you go to Amazon for apps. There are basics. The power button is on the top right of the device. You swipe down from the top menu for quick settings, just like in Android, for brightness, Wi-Fi, and account settings. The home screen is accessed from a house icon at the bottom of the screen. It also has a back arrow to take you to the previous screen. The Silk browser is for internet browsing. The menu at the top of the screen for searching for a device is different on the Kindle Fire. When you do a search, you look for apps, locating games, books. You also can access all of your settings from there. Your apps can be added by visiting the store. The store in this one is not an app. It's actually the shopping cart icon that takes you straight to your Amazon account. For these, you do not need a password to add free or purchased apps. Apps can be deleted by holding your finger on the app icon, which reveals a menu, and you choose Remove. The CML content on the Kindle Fire is more limited. You can find Overdrive, Freegal, EBSCO, eBrary, OneClick Digital, and Tutor.com. The other apps that we have are not going to work with Kindle Fire. The next device that we're going to look at are the iPad Air and the iPad Mini. Both of these are manufactured by Apple and run off the iOS operating system. You access all of the apps through the App Store. They have the same basics as some of our other tablets. The home button at the bottom is where you do everything, including returning to the home screen from any place. You can double-click home to pull up all your currently open devices, and you can close them by touching the app and swiping upwards from the bottom. Double-clicking the home screen on an Apple product, access the Recent key. Your settings are still located in Quick Settings, but you swipe up from the bottom instead of down from the top. You can also go to the Settings app. You can change screen brightness, volume, Wi-Fi, and camera options. At the top left of the screen, there is a battery percentage image that is visible at all times. On Apple products, the web browser is Safari. For this one device, you do need the device password that you use to log onto the device to download apps. The power button is located at the top and the volume buttons on the right-hand side. You power off the device by holding the power button until you get a message to power off and then a message to confirm with an OK. All of the content for these are listed at the bottom, and they're similar to the ones for Android. The Microsoft Surface Pro 3 is the next device we're going to talk about. This one is probably going to be one of the more challenging for staff. It is a tablet, but it functions like a laptop. It is manufactured by Microsoft, and it has the Windows operating system. You use the Windows Store for applications. The Start button always returns you to the home screen. This button is located at the right of the device in landscape mode, on the keyboard, or at the bottom left of the screen when you point the mouse pointer there. The Microsoft Surface Pro is going to be a little different because it's going to come with a keyboard that you can attach magnetically and a stylus. So you're able to access things through the touchscreen as well as through the keyboard, and a mouse that you can hook into the Microsoft Surface Pro. For the Microsoft Surface Pro, on the home screen, all of the apps appear as tiles. You can click or touch the down arrow to view the alphabetical listing of all the apps that are installed. You do have a quick settings menu that appears if you swipe from the right-hand side with your finger or point your mouse at the top right corner of the screen. To access all the applications, you go from the Start button. The web browser is Internet Explorer. To move from one application to another or to get back to the desktop, you can create a sideways U from the top left corner to the bottom left corner. To close the application, you open the application and swipe from the top to the bottom of the screen. This sounds more complicated than it is. You will get training on all of these devices. You get all the apps from the Windows Store, and you do not need your device password to download those. You turn off the device by holding the power button until you get a message that has you slide to power off. The Microsoft Surface Pro 3 has a lot of the same apps that you'll get with Apple and with Android. The best way to learn these devices is to play with them. We encourage you to go and pick up the Microsoft Surface Pro 3 at your branch to learn more. The Asus Google Chromebook is going to be a web-based laptop using Chrome operating system and the Google Play Store for apps. This one looks just like a laptop and functions like one, but with very limited internal storage. Most of the content is web-based. So when you're using the machine, you'll do word processing, presentations, and spreadsheets through Google Drive. The power button is located at the right corner of the keyboard, and the device powers up quickly when it's opened. The volume controls are next to the power button. The battery and Wi-Fi connection levels are located on the bottom right corner next to the clock, and the web browser is screen. On the home screen, you do have apps that are available in the bottom left-hand corner. The apps are very limited. For example, the only app through CML is Overdrive. Everything else can be accessed online through the Chrome browser. The next thing we're going to talk about are our special features for mobile technology. Keep in mind we're going to go through these quickly, and you're going to get more training from your DPPs within your branch about all of these. These are going to hit the highlights, but more information will be following, including training. The first exciting thing we're going to be getting is Mobile Circ on the iPad Air. Everyone will receive a kit with a wireless Bluetooth scanner and wireless Bluetooth printer. Most branches will be receiving 2 iPads. These iPads will have Mobile Circ installed. This is not Horizon, but something that will work with Horizon. Some examples of things that you can do are to do check-in. You might be able to do some inventory, check out, change the status of books. You can also scan the back of a North Carolina driver's license and add a user. Imaginon is our pilot site for this, and right now they're working through some of the details. This is perfect for circulation work in the stacks and outreach. You can also do roving reference. Your DPP will be working in conjunction with the facilitation team to develop best practices for your individual branch. Detailed training will be provided to all staff. More details will follow soon. The next big initiative we have are Chromebooks that can be checked out to customers. Any customer may check out the Chromebook along with a large print keyboard. This is optional for patrons. This is not only limited to customers with disabilities, but it is intended to help provide additional access and options for those customers. It is our library policy not to dictate who has special needs or accessibility issues. The Chromebooks were bought with grant funds, so there'll be a special checkout procedure to help gather data on how these items are being used within the system. With the checkout procedure, staff is going to have to fill out a Google form so that the grant data can be easily tracked and measured. The form will be the home page of every Chromebook, so the staff will lose no time accessing it. You'll simply go to the form, fill it out quickly, and check it out to the patrons. Similar to when we had the netbooks in some locations, the customers will be able to check out the branch Chromebook once a day for 2 hours. Customers can only use the Chromebook within the library facility, and it must not leave the premises. Failure to comply with these procedures will result in a $150 fee for technology replacement. The circulation policy will clearly define the procedure. There will be something for the customer to read to make sure they understand what they're doing, as well as signage. It'll be very similar to when we checked out the netbook. Chromebooks have some very interesting accessibility options. Chromebooks only run one thing, Chrome. If you can use Chrome on the library PC, then you can use a Chromebook. However, for time's sake, we're going to show you a couple of the accessibility options that they have. The one that I really want to highlight has to do with Chromevox. So for anyone that comes into your branch that has any kind of visual impairment, they're going to be able to access Chromevox. Chromevox will read to you every website and all the information that you have within your settings and your menus in your Chromebook. It's an excellent accessibility option that we can offer to customers who might not be able to use our normal computers. Other accessibility options are available through settings, and we will have more training on these to allow you to see how best we can serve our customers with the Chromebooks. So from there, we're going to talk about our mobile technology program menu. I want you to keep in mind that this is a living document and these might change, specifically because we have 3 pilot branches that are all working right now to give us best practices and to let us know about new programs that might work best. Starting in January, you are required per quarter to do 3 of these. Please don't worry about this. Your DPPs are going to be responsible for tracking all of this information, and you'll work closely with your DPPs on figuring out which of these works best for your location. As you can see, I'm not going to read through all of it, but you have your mobile tech tutor with your one-on-one support, your tech petting zoo, mobile technology cloud storage, mobile technology devices and features, and mobile technology library mobile apps. All of these are similar to things that we've done in the past. The trick is now we're going to use these devices that you have within these programs. So, some best practices for mobile technology programming. It is okay not to know something. All of us are always constantly learning. Please utilize your DPP in programs if you're using a new device you're not familiar with. They can help you as a floater or they can assist with the program. When you're working with a patron, try to minimize the time you're working on their personal device and spend more time showing them on our devices and then encourage them to practice on their own device. We are trying to help foster tech-savvy customers. We're teaching them to learn themselves. So devices can be the focus of a program, but they can also just be a tool. They are very powerful machines that can enhance programming. A great example of this is story times. The Microsoft Surface Pro 3 is a much larger screen that can be used in story times to show pictures. Please become familiar with your CML apps and the offerings available for each device. These will guide your interactions with patrons. Please feel free to refer to the tip sheets at any point. Extremely device-specific questions may be answered by the support that came with their device. You are not tech support. An Android device can come in and be completely different from the Samsung devices we have. You're not expected to know everything about those devices. You can help them figure out how to help themselves. If you have an idea for a way to use a device in a new or existing program, talk with your DPP or reach out to the digital facilitation team. All of the device usage will be recorded directly into the portal. Your DPP will have more information in this and be able to guide you in this process. So when you're doing mobile technology training, don't focus on the technology, focus on the teaching. We all know that technology is constantly changing. What we're trying to figure out how to do is train our customers and our staff to learn new technologies themselves. So if you focus on how to learn and how to play, in the end, we'll create better tech-savvy customers. So 5 skills to keep in mind when you're working with one-on-one technology instruction is be welcoming. When people come up and ask you a technology question, no matter how basic it is, make them feel they did the right thing for asking for your help. Assess the need in 2 different ways. First, what are they trying to learn? What's the desired outcome? And secondly, how will they learn most effectively? What style of learning? What is their age? What is their knowledge base? How can you help them learn in the best way for them? Also, give up control. We don't want to drive these devices. You have to let the customer play themselves and drive so that they remember how to do it. Be present, be focused on where you are, and take it slow. Be patient. Many of our customers are just learning how to use these devices, and things are learned one step at a time. Keeping in mind that if you have a tech-savvy person wanting specific information, you can cater that session to 5 skills for group technology instructions. Set up the space for learning. Take the time to create an environment that encourages learning and play. Communicate clearly. This is always essential. You don't want to slip into jargon that people might not understand. Start at their level, figure out where you're at, and then you can move into more technical terms later if your group can follow you. Involve the learners. Do lots and lots of play time. Let them participate and learn on their own, and set up an environment where it's creative and play-based. Stay balanced. Teaching a class means you have to be ready for anything. We all know within the system that includes the library's Wi-Fi dropping out. And then practice before and after class, making sure that they learn these new skills. At the bottom of this page, there's a link to a great resource for developing these skills. As you're working with these devices, both within programs and for your personal play, you will be reserving them through Room Reserve. There will be training to follow on this, but I'm going to give you the basics. When you reserve the devices, you go into Room Reserve, and instead of reserving in the room section, you reserve equipment. All of these will be listed for you to check out for a specific date and time that you would like to use the devices. They'll be reserved for training, programming, and outreach. Staff are not able to take the devices home, but they are able to check them out within the branch to play. The digital devices and kits, this will be the projection and mobile circ that comes, are all tracked by the DPPs. If you would like additional devices or equipment tracked, you may email Robert Stoker as a branch saying that you would like to keep track of these other things. This is very important for us to be able to see how we're actually using the devices. Additional trainings will be provided to you. DPPs will be your tech trainers beyond today, and by extension, the digital facilitation team. Your DPP may request the team come out to do a specific branch training. You can reach out to your DPP to request additional trainings that you need. Don't wait for them to come to you. In the fall, there will be mobile circ and Chromebook training. There will be program events and the portal and Room Reserve training. And then in 2016, the digital facilitation team will resume the digital service trainings and more. Anytime that you need help, you can reach out to your DPP. Your DPPs can reach out to the facilitation team. The digital facilitation team is here to help you best learn these skills. Your DPP person is there for individual training and any questions that you might have.